recommend YouTube for you. I think that YouTube is a way to grow and make you a better person without the intention of being a better person. Maybe the intention is to post out videos. Maybe the intention is to make money. Maybe the intention is to just have a little bit more of a fan base, or maybe even just a friend. You know, it could be whatever intention, but I think it does make you a better person. And that's the important thing about your hobbies and business and whatever. I think that it's something that could push you to be a better person, minus the rewards of your, minus the fruit of your labor. So, just with that outlook, I just think that YouTube is something that's very positive and can be a very well organized creative space. So that's what I want for myself. I do see myself as a professional person who is organized and neat, but also I'm very laid back and nonchalant. And that kind of blurred up the road for YouTube because I didn't know if I was okay with just being in a car talking about my day, freebasing it, or did I want a nice location to have a nice background to really talk about something important to me and come across a little more serious. So with me, I'm a little bit of both. And with Jose, I could tell already he's definitely for the people. He will just straight up say what he's thinking, regardless of where he is. And I think that's so key and very important. And it doesn't matter where you are. It's what matters is what's coming out of your mouth and the energy that you're portraying, or not portraying because that shit could be fake, but how long can you fake it? It's what you're trying to put out there. And yeah, just going down the road of YouTube, I've just been obsessing about it and looking up how to make better videos, how to be more professional. And I don't want to be something I'm not because I'm not a millionaire. I'm not very successful at growing mushrooms, but I could talk about the struggles that I face every day, you know? So yeah, it's just kind of meeting yourself halfway. But I wanted to grow into a bigger shell, and I wanted to have maybe a background of some place looking legit. And an example that I want to say is just like, say you're looking up a YouTube video and there's a person in their car just talking nonchalantly versus someone who appears sophisticated in a studio. Yeah, what's most important is the words coming out of your mouth, but I think I'm going to listen a little bit more intently at someone who has some stuff. And that's unfortunate, but I think that's just the way it goes. So, yeah, it kind of just leaves questions in my head of where to go next, what to do next, what to focus on. And that's tough, but that's kind of something that you're going to have to do, regardless of what position and what hobbies you want to adopt or what paths you want to take. It's just going to be different, but it's still the same in regards to rising to the occasion and being where the fuck you want to be. And I felt proud to say this because it's just like I taught myself it randomly, but I was just like, I think that I could do better than just my car because I'm freezing in my car. My car doesn't have heat. So like, why do that to myself? So I looked up places around me and I found a library. In a library, I knew that you could usually get a room to yourself and just talk, and have a still background and just focus a little bit better. So that's what I decided to do today. And then I realized like the world is your oyster. Like you really have to be, your eyes have to be open in the world that you live in, and you have to pay attention. And I don't do that well because I'm so sped up. I'm so in a rush that I don't really sit down and acclimate and really think it through. In a lot of scenarios, and a lot of the times it backfires when you just go so fast. One other thing I want to say about YouTube is not even YouTube, just someone who has goals and you try to tell your friends about it, you tell loved ones about it, you don't really get the support you want. And that could be a huge morale killer. and that could be really disappointing. But you gotta realize it's about who the person you are and how far you're willing to take things and how far you're willing to dig deep, because it's not for the social status. It's not for someone to pat me on the back. Yes, support is needed, and I talk to my friends who are creators, not just YouTube, but just music or other creative spaces, and it's something relatable. Like things that we're really passionate about, we don't get the support we want. And I'm sure you can relate too. And that shit is tough. And it makes you want to give up. But realize that you're doing it for something bigger than you. And it will rub off. And it shows you who your like the people who are there for you. It does show. It shows. Because once you start having a little bit of a wave popping off, then they're going to wish that they were there the whole time or pretend that they were there the whole time. But you need to remember your feelings and remember where you came from. So, yeah. Let me let some sunshine in. Some sunshine. But, yeah, those are things that I felt important to talk about because they're fresh on my mind. And, yeah, going down the path of YouTube is just like all these things that you should be doing to make your video more clickable, more likable. They do say just make better videos and you will create more of a traction and a following, but there's also little sly ways to get people to click on your shit. And I don't love that, but I understand. You need what is called a curiosity gap, and you want to make people curious. And if you could give them more than they clicked on, more than they bought into, and give them extra, like, for example, like a fucking food review. You weren't expecting that, like, so it gives the people a little bit more. So I think that's cool. I think that's a good way to think about it. But yeah, YouTube's just been making me a better person, I would say. And it makes me excited. It's affected my attitude throughout my day in going to work, because this right here is what I look forward to. And if I just have to make it through the 4 hours before lunch and the 4 hours after lunch, I'll be all right, and we'll keep it kicking towards the goal. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm gonna keep it short. That's something that just felt important to talk about.